How is the dl650 as a cross-country motorcycle? Took a cross-country trip on my Suzuki dl650, and it was a 15,000, 18,000 mile trip around the United States. I started out from DC and I went all the way to Portland, Oregon, Washington, Seattle. People here are driving like 5. Valley of the Gods. Look at this. This is going to be my campsite today. It took me forever to get here. It's a 2005 dl650. It's got this pretty cool windscreen. Really helps out. I bought it for $2,500. So I thought I got a pretty good deal. These lights, and they work pretty well, mostly for visibility from other cars, not really so much lighting your way. The reason I got I think a good deal on it is because the guy who had it crashed it here on the left side, but it's all cosmetic. The motor seems to be in excellent shape. Givey trunk mount. As far as packing, I'm not sure if I'm taking too much stuff. Definitely way too much technology stuff. I have a GPS 376C. I have this for a Nexus 7 tablet, which is like waterproof. And of course I got my camera that I'm recording this with. And I have my laptop, charger for the camera, charger for the GPS. So and I have a tripod, which seems to be way too much technology. I don't know, I kind of wish I didn't pack the laptop and do the ride report directly from my Nexus, and it seems to be holding up pretty well. 15,000 miles on it, and it's comfortable enough, but my ass is hurting right about now. After the first 600 miles, it's been downhill. Like, the more I ride it, the more I really like it. I mean, it's a pretty incredible bike for the price that you get. I mean, I see KTM Adventures and all of that, and BMW GS is for $20,000. This bike is really good. It's not a dirt bike, but it got me in here. The brakes are kind of weak. I think the front dives in quite a bit, which I don't like. Bike. It's cheap for one, and that makes it pretty darn good because you don't have to spend $20,000 to buy a BMW R1200 GS. Pretty insane. The ergonomics of the bike are excellent. You know, the fit and finish is a little cheap compared to BMWs, but this bike handles extremely well. Riding around with the sport bikes. This is Mississippi. Currently in Arkansas, in Oklahoma City, or Oklahoma. It's very easy to maneuver in tight twisties. It's excellent all-arounder. Like it does gravel. Ozark, which is a really popular place in Arkansas for ADV rider. One of the problems I did find in the ride is that I actually encountered more dirt and gravel than I would care to ride with this bike, and I did ride it. Bolts came loose. Like, it was not the type of bike that you would want to sustain riding on gravel for long periods of time, because it's really not meant for it. There's so much plastic on it, and as you're riding over like gravel and holes and things like that, you hear everything rattling off. And I had one frame bolt come loose, I had pegs come loose, I had the upper steering stay come loose, and it's super reliable, barely needs any sort of maintenance. You can put in the cheapest gas, it just doesn't really complain. It's very much like a sewing machine, it just works. I've owned the BMW before and I really don't like it. They are too expensive, they are not as good as these bikes in my opinion. The GSs of course are much better off-road, but I don't really care too much because most of the time most riders are going to be staying on the road for the most part. And if they do go off-road, it's like gravel. And if they ride a little bit more off-road, as I've seen on ADV Rider, it's mainly just pose and take photos as you're crossing a creek or something. I did cross a few creeks on this bike along the way, and it did fine. You know, it's not the best, but it really did well. The peace of mind of not having to worry about breaking down is pretty incredible. I could have taken any bike cross-country. I was planning on taking my dl650 cross-country, and I bought this dl650 mainly because I wanted fuel injection just in case. Like in the winter, my dl650 is very difficult to start, and with fuel injection, it's just, you know, you just start it up and it goes. I think the dl650 is a great bike for a lot of people. It does everything well, not everything perfectly, of course. Off-road, it's not a very good choice. So if you want to ride off-road, this bike might not be the best bike for it. Maybe a KTM 950, but then you're sacrificing reliability and much more expensive maintenance costs. Buy this bike. It's cheap on the used market. You can get these things for 2,000, 3,000 miles with very little miles, and they'll last you much longer than a BMW will. Look at my bike here. And there's this, I pulled into this, I'm in California now, finally, and I pulled into